It's lunchtime, time to put the laptop down and go out there and find some food. Nicole has a hankering for department store lunch, and we're gonna head over to Seibu and try and find an area that we haven't explored yet. There's many different floors with restaurants and different little nooks and crannies at the train station with restaurants to go and check out. So we're gonna go over to one of the department stores and hunt out a floor we haven't seen yet. I think we have not seen the Seibu department store restaurant floor proper yet. I think we tried to go there once and ended up in another wing of the train station and like maybe Parco. So I'm just gonna drag her out of there. She's just getting ready and we're gonna head over to the train station. This section of the department store had a tonkatsu restaurant, and if you follow us, you know I'm a sucker for tonkatsu. So I convinced Nicole to come in here for lunch. They had lunch specials that looked reasonable. It's a good pro tip. If you're coming out for a meal and you want to do that in the department store, coming out for lunch is usually more reasonable than dinner because they do have lunch specials. At dinner, the prices go way up. We've put our order in. I got a double order of tonkatsu and Nicole got a single order. Basically the same thing, except I just got 2 pieces of pork, and I am really ready to dive into this. I'm super hungry. But first, let me just show you a little bit of how you set up and eat your tonkatsu. Quick rundown of the sauces. This one here is the tonkatsu sauce that you would either pour right over your tonkatsu, or you could pour it into your dish if you prefer to dip. This is a straight up soy sauce, and this is the dressing for all the cabbage they give you. Oftentimes the soup has clams in it. Let's see what this one has. Wow, little mini tiny clams. Just for flavor. I don't think I could even possibly eat those. They're super tiny. But they give the soup a very nice flavor. This pork is really good. It has a good bit of fat cap on it here. And it's juicy and really well fried. I'd also like to point out, it always comes on one of these little racks. And that keeps it super crispy on the top and the bottom. Any moisture can drain off onto your plate. And when you're using your salad dressing on your cabbage, it won't leak in and make your tonkatsu soggy. Genius. And if you don't like the tonkatsu sauce, which is sweet, there's usually some mustard. So you can get some mustard onto your pork and go with that. That hit the spot. I can't think of a time tonkatsu has not hit the spot. When I've craved it, it's always been super satisfying. And when I've kind of wanted it, it's always been super satisfying. I just love tonkatsu. So that was a lot of food. I'm starting to feel a little sluggish, which means I'm gonna have to get caffeinated up for the rest of the workday. And Nicole, how did you find lunch?
No complaints here. I'm glad we came. The meal was a perfect size for me. I love coming and skulking around department stores at lunchtime looking for good deals, because eating at a shop like this at lunch usually costs kind of like half as much as what you would pay for dinner. And I find it really comfortable seating. The portions are good, and I just enjoy it a lot.
I'm gonna head back and finish my workday at the apartment. Nicole's gonna stay here at the station and sort of explore it a little bit more. There's so much to see at these train stations that you could be exploring it for weeks and probably still find new things. So she'll have some fun doing that. So we will catch you later on in the day, probably after work is done. Lunch was so good, and it's so fun to be able to just walk outside at lunch hour during work and be able to go to an amazing restaurant like that serving like really good quality tonkatsu. Like at home I would just go out and get a sub or maybe some pizza or something like that, but here, because we're living like right in the center of it and so close to everything, we can go out and have all this amazing Japanese cuisine basically at our fingertips. So really loving that. It really helps with working here. So I'm just gonna pop back upstairs, finish my afternoon. I got something for a bit of a tea break, some taiyaki. I finally found the taiyaki shop again in the train station, which we had passed like first couple of days that we were here. So I picked up a couple of those and I will share that with you at break time. It's break time. I've been working here for a few hours, been very productive, so I feel like I've earned a break. I've brewed up a coffee and I'm gonna bust into these taiyakis and give them a try. I think I'm gonna experiment with heating them up in the toaster oven because they normally would come to you nice and warm, and that's how I feel like having it. So let me show you how they came. They came in these brown paper bags and they've been nicely taped up. I ordered 2 of them and they individually wrapped them. So there is one, and I believe this one is cream cheese and red bean. It was a mixture. And this one was just red bean. So let's toast one of them up in the toaster oven and see how that works. So far that seems really promising. Just throwing it in the toaster oven for maybe a minute and the outside has hardened up a little bit, but I can still feel that it's nice and soft in the center. And these ones are especially nice looking taiyaki. So tai is fish and yaki is grill, and these are sort of, as you saw them being made, kind of like grilled cakes and stuffing inside. If you've been following us, I've been telling you that constantly because I love eating these types of things. The other day we found these in the shape of little pandas. This is the red bean and cream cheese one, and I wasn't expecting that actually. I got them backwards. I thought I was going to be having the red bean only version, but this is really good. That was really surprising. I was thinking at first that the filling was not quite cooked, but it's just the cream cheese and it comes out, it's nice and thick, and it mixes with the anko, the red bean paste, really nicely. That's really good. Nothing beats a fresh one right off the pan where the outside is scorching hot and the inside is gooey and really warm and fluffy. But this one's still very, very enjoyable, and it's gonna go very well with my coffee and my little break here before I get back to work. So I'm gonna swim these fish into my mouth and catch you later. You really had to drag me away from the balcony tonight.
I know, right? Some of us didn't have any taiyakis this afternoon and we need to eat.
That's true, but I just love standing up there watching the trains, and especially around this time, rush hour, there's a lot more trains going in and out of the station, and it's a lot of fun for me to just kind of watch them go back and forth and constantly be zipping in and out of Ikebukuro station.
I shouldn't give you too much grief about the trains because I love the train station.
Yeah.
That's where I like to hang out. There's so many goodies to explore there.
You had fun there?
I did, very much.
Very good. So work day is over. We were out for dinner. So we're going to a spot that we've walked past several times that looks really good. And we said we're going there next dinner that we're going out, and that's where we're headed right now. So it's just a short walk, a little bit farther than the yakitori place we went to, across the main street into the residential area. Now that you mention it, I'm really hungry too. So let's get to the restaurant. This place is really neat. We came down some stairs, as you saw, under a huge paper lantern into the bar and the kitchen area. Like, it's right in front of you when you walk in the door, and then they have little rooms where they'll sit you and you kind of have your own little booth, and that's what we got. When you're in your booth, there's a button, and this button will call your waitress. So we pushed this button and made an order. And I felt like sake tonight, so I was looking over the sake menu, which is obviously all in Japanese, and I'm not sure what is what. So I was trying to ask the waitress what's her favorite, what would she recommend? And unfortunately she's 19, so she would recommend nothing because she's not allowed to drink, so she didn't know, and I think I confused her a little bit, but she eventually came back and somebody with her suggested a certain sake, and that's what I've gone with. I'll just go with their suggestion. Hopefully it will be good. And this place does deep fried skewers, which we have not had yet on this trip, and I love. So we put in an order of some deep fried skewers and some regular skewers and see how we do with that. There's quite a varied menu, so if we get hungry after the skewers, we're going to try some other stuff off the menu, because this is just your typical izakaya. This is not a yakitori. They do all kinds of different foods here. So really looking forward to the food coming. I think Nicole has something she wants to say.
I'm here with a correction. We have gone to a skewer restaurant. It actually just specialized in deep fried skewers. It was for lunch. It was in the department store. It was very fancy. I don't know how he forgot about it. I had foie gras. Maybe that was Michael's problem. He didn't have the foie gras.
That's right, I forgot about that restaurant. I guess I was thinking of like a bar type place. That was a pretty fancy.
That was posh.
Yeah. So our food has come, and it looks really good. One of the things that Nicole ordered, which I'm a bit sketchy about, was pork tongue. We really like beef tongue, gutong, but we've never tried pork tongue before. And she tried it and she said, that's not my favorite. So I thought I would give it a try. Whoa. That is very interesting. It's not what I was expecting at all in terms of texture. It's like almost crunchy in a weird way. Like you have to put some force into the bite to break through, and then the inside's a little bit soft. I don't mind it. It's not bad. But what's really good is the pork temple. That is very soft and seasoned really well. We got them with salt. The pork tongue was sauced, but this one was just seasoned with salt. Has a nice barbecue flavor. Not quite on par as the place we went the other night, obviously, the yakitori place, which specialized in this type of cooking, but that was also twice the price. But this is still very, very good and enjoyable.
I am usually not a friend of anything green. Me and vegetables don't get along, but something about the asparagus in this country, very yummy. And I guess it doesn't help that they've breaded it and deep fried it and covered it in salt.
Doesn't hurt.
Oh. Such a strong asparagus flavor coming out. Very good.
I love how it's crunchy on the outside, nice and soft in the middle.
I feel I'm being very healthy right now.
One of my favorite deep fried skewers is always cheese. It's usually very crispy on the outside and nice and gooey on the inside. This is camembert, and it is nice and warm and gooey on the inside. And I just love that. I love the warm cheese with the crunchy exterior. It's like having a cheese and cracker on a skewer. Very, very good.
So what does a deep fried quail egg taste like? Kind of exactly what you would expect. The quail egg itself tastes like a small version of a chicken egg, except the yolk is very creamy, and the batter just tastes like batter around the egg. I think that this dish is good, but it hasn't been like spectacular. The two haven't melded together to provide something that's more than the sum of its parts.
Unlike the cheese.
Unlike the cheese. It's still enjoyable, but not blow your socks off enjoyable. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you have expectations that it's going to be amazing. And then the food comes and it just doesn't quite hit the mark. And that's what happened to us tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately. We've had really amazing meals on this trip so far, but unfortunately this was not one of them.
I think that was the problem. We got used to having amazing experiences, and what did we not do?
We did not check Google. Usually I check Google Maps, just kind of look at the ratings and make sure that what we've planned to eat is actually going to be good. and we kind of got lazy or got a false sense of security and didn't do that for this place.
You know what happened?
What?
We got enticed by that giant lantern
Yeah, that's
outside.
true. The decor outside's really quite cool. It did lure us in.
And I do like the insides here, the little rooms that they have. It's just that the food, it wasn't like the food was bad. It just wasn't, it was just missing something.
Yeah, I mean the place we went to for skewers the other night was spectacular.
Yeah.
Like every meal, like I can't think of a bad meal.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is not a bad
No,
meal.
it's not
just
at all.
it just wasn't at that level that
Yeah.
we've been having so far. So slightly disappointing. So we're gonna cut our losses. We've finished up our skewers. We were gonna do a round 2, but we're gonna not bother. Just gonna finish our drinks and then go outside, explore this street. There's lots of restaurants on this street, so we should be able to find something for part 2 to dinner and continue filling our bellies because mine is not full yet. I think we've decided to conveni it after our meal. So we're not gonna go find another restaurant. We're just gonna fill up on a few snacks as we're walking around Tokyo here. I am having my very first pizzamon, which is...
For the trip.
Yeah, for the trip, which is a pizza bun. So this is a steamed bun with a pizza-esque filling. It's really satisfying in a very odd way. It's cheese and marinara sauce, and I don't even think there's meat. I just think it's got that essence of pizza that kind of hits the spot when you're craving it once in a while. So let's give it a try.
Look at the steam coming out of that
Yeah.
thing. I can't believe you hadn't had a pizzamon yet this trip. This is your go-to.
Yeah, I know. I love the pizzamon. It's a tough call between this and the cheese curry bun, which is my favorite. I think I was just trying to hold out as long as possible because I know that once I start eating these, it's gonna be bad times, and it's gonna be good times in my mouth and bad times down in my stomach. But you can see the cheese in there and the marinara sauce.
Oh no, you're losing cheese.
All right, I got it.
Was it more satisfying than the meal we just had?
I don't want to be mean about that meal. That meal was good. It just didn't blow me away. This is satisfying at a different level. Totally different. You can't compare the two.
In a dirty, dirty way?
Yeah. So let's go get your dirty fill at McDonald's, I have a feeling.
It's raining on us.
No big deal. Just the effects of the third typhoon since we've been here. So Hagibis hit us on our first full day here. That was a horrible typhoon for Japan, the super typhoon. Then earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday, another typhoon, which had weakened to a tropical storm by the time it reached us, blew through. And right now, the effects of a third typhoon are being felt. That one's luckily not gonna make landfall. It's just blowing a lot of rain and apparently pretty severe waves coming in off the Pacific onto the east coast of northern Honshu and Kanto. So I guess we're just kind of lucky that it's just rain, but oops, the bar's been in your face. But yeah, can you believe it? I cannot remember.
3 typhoons.
Yeah, it's 3 typhoons, and we've never
No.
ever had this much rain when we've visited Japan before.
We always come at the same time.
Yeah, this is very unusual, but c'est la vie, I guess. Hopefully by the time we're on vacation and remote work has stopped, things will clear up. Let's hope for that. So we're done for the night. We're heading back. Quick pit stop at McDonald's, as you saw, and now I am going to bed. So we will see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed a fantastic tonkatsu meal with us and felt our pain with a less than stellar dinner. Don't forget to give the video a like, which really helps grow the channel, and hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. We'll see you next week.